is Arthrell, and today I would like to talk to you about one of my 8-year experience in Kenpo Karate and attaining the second degree black belt. I noticed in my experience that there is a difference between Kenpo Karate and other martial arts styles. For example, why in all the other martial artists only wear white gi when Kenpo only wears black gi? And why is it more of an offense than a defense martial arts style? To understand about Kenpo Karate, I asked my former instructor or sensei to interview about Kenpo Karate and its history. I will also talk about some of the most famous people who took Kenpo Karate, and you may be surprised by who they were. In Kenpo Karate, who started the Kenpo Karate in the first place?
Well, Ken, most people believe that it was Ed Parker. But that's here in America that has been known as. Kenpo has been known, or has been dated in history for over 2,000 years. It's didn't have a name back then. But what we know from the history of what came here to America is from James Matosi. He's Japanese. This Kenpo system is actually Chinese and Japanese. But what it came from is James Matosi. And when it came to him, to William Chow, to Ed Parker, and then from there, everyone pretty much that knows Kenpo knows about Ed Parker. And it came from there.
Interesting. So in the other questions, why does the Kenpo Karate wear black gis?
It's a good question. You know, a lot of people think it's a stylish thing. But back in the old days, you know, everyone wore white gis. You could see like ninjas wore black, you know, so what it meant is like the depth too. So that's why we wore black gis, because this is a serious art. This is more like self-defense. When it came to America, we didn't always have weapons and guns. You know, what we trained at was just the self-defense part. It came from war. So that's what this is really representing. It's before my time, but it's been said to me by like Al Tracy and just guys who've been around for a long time, is when someone went in a tournament with black gi, a lot of people didn't want to fight them because they're like, oh no, they were afraid because of the depth.
Man, that's hard.
It's pretty deep, isn't it?
So in the next question, how and why are the belts named in color in the Kenpo Karate system?
But the name comes from the Japanese counting system. You've got your Hachi Q. The Q is a student rank, the Hachi is 8th, and then it counts from there. The colors we actually got is Al Tracy and her brothers kind of added colors. There was only a few belts in the system. But one of the things is they were finding out as they were teaching this stuff is a lot of people started dropping off, especially as America changed. A lot of people, we're right now kind of society. We want things now. So when people had to wait years to even advance up to another level, this is where it became ideal to get the belt colors. How did the colors come about? This is what Al Tracy was talking about. He called out the fabric maker, right? The guys that make different things. And, they just asked, what colors do you have? What colors do you have on hand? And they told them the colors. It was actually originally, they already had white. So originally it was added orange, purple, the blue, the green, brown was around, and black was around. So when they added those colors, it's because that's what they had. They didn't want to go with a color like pink or anything. So today, as funny as you see pink belts, but they don't matter for anything. But each system has different colors. This is where we came from. Those colors were added in place. We went from light color to dark color. Now what we see today is a yellow belt. A lot of people don't know this. A lot of people in the Kenpo system don't know that the yellow belt really was added by Mark Miller here in Cleveland. which is my sensei, is a 10th degree black belt. And he added that when Al Tracy was like on a pretty much retirement for a while. So then Mark Miller's like, okay, we have 40 techniques per belt. Now, people were starting to drop off on that too, so he made it kind of like as an introduction belt. So they become 10 techniques there, and he dropped it to 30 techniques each belt. Then the retention rate of the Kenpo system started growing then. So does that answer your question pretty good?
I think so. So, do you know anybody famous in the Hall of Fame of Kenpo Karate?
Well, the one name that really stands out is Elvis Presley. Elvis Presley, a lot of people thought that he bought his belts, pretty much just because he was famous. From what was said, Al Tracy, is from Tracy's Karate. Here's why we bear the name Tracy's Karate. He was telling everybody in seminars and anybody who interacted with him to ask about Elvis Presley. He'd tell them, yeah, he really did train. I believe he was a 7th degree black belt like I am now. He worked years for that too. And he didn't just get that overnight. So. But then Bruce Lee actually trained. A lot of people like this, they're like really surprised by that. Bruce Lee trained with Ed Parker in the Kenpo system. He wasn't looking to master the Kenpo system. The thing about Bruce Lee, he was trying to pick the best of all these different arts. He liked Kenpo so much that he stayed a while. He trained for over a year. He actually lived with Ed Parker for a while. And that's where Ed Parker actually had a kind of a key to Hollywood with different people. And that's where Elvis came, Bruce Lee came. Bruce Lee got his start in Hollywood here, in America, but he was also an actor before he came. So there was a few names just to throw out there.
So in the symbol of the tiger and the dragon, why do the Kenpo system uses the tiger and the dragon as a symbol?
Well, besides it being cool, it looks cool to have the tiger and dragon, there is actually meaning. So that's a good question. In our self-defense techniques, there's different styles of techniques we have. We're not just like one way. We got different ways of doing things. Well, the tiger is more like bold. Come out and just attack. Some of our techniques we have is like a block, and you come in. There's a tiger palm, but that's like deflect and attack now. Go on it. The dragon is nice too. Now as I deflect here, you don't see this. So the dragon uses more wisdom type techniques. They block your vision as they attack down here with the hand, or even put a foot in it. And that's kind of the difference between those, is the style of how we fight.
Cool. So in our last question, what is your favorite technique in the Kenpo Karate self-defense?
Well, one technique comes to my mind. I have a lot of favorite techniques, but overall one of my funnest techniques to do is called darkness. In the Tracy system, we got over 400 self-defense techniques. As you know this, you've been doing this for a while with me, right? You did a lot of techniques, haven't you?
Yes, I have.
And darkness is, out of all those techniques, darkness is probably my favorite. Why is that my favorite? Because it's fast, it's practical. Now, you may not always get every movement in the techniques. Here's one of the cool things that one of the black belts over at Parma Heights, his name's Tim Tram. He coined it the best with our techniques. He calls it, he says these are scripted moves with adaptability. One thing I like about the darkness is it's a practical move on many levels. So if I go to do that scripted move, I can adapt real easy.
Well, I hope you enjoyed this documentary and why Kenpo Karate is the way of the warrior. I hope that this documentary is interesting and informative. Thank you, and sayonara.